जय श्री कृष्ण एवरीवन। लेट्स डू गीता ध्यानम। सबसे पहले गणेश जी का एक मंत्र करें। ओम स्वस्ति श्री गणेशाय नमः, श्री सरस्वत्यै नमो नमः, श्री गुरुभ्यो देवेभ्यो नमः। ओम वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गीता ध्यानम। ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। ओम नमोस्तुते व्यास विशाल बुद्धे पुल्लाडविन्दायतपत्र नेत्र येन त्वया भारत तैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमय प्रदीपः सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचानूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवे वेदै साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरसुरगणा देवाय तस्मै नमः। Let's say the first shloka, chapter 1. Om Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yutsavah Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva Kim Makurvata Sanjaya. Jai Shri Krishna everyone. Keep practicing Gita Dhyanam please. Those mantras are very important, very simple and very beautiful also. We stopped at chapter 2 verse 28. Okay, so everyone look at verse number 25, 26, 27. 3 times Bhagavan Shri Krishna ended the shloka in the same words. What did he say? Nanu shochitum arhasi, nainam shochitum arhasi, or natvam shochitum arhasi. So Bhagavan Shri Krishna in these verses, he is explaining to Arjuna why he should not grieve. What is the main problem? Arjuna is filled with doubt because he is afraid to kill his cousins, his friends, his family in the Mahabharata war. So Bhagavan Shri Krishna is explaining why he should not grieve. Shochitum arhasi. Shoch means grief. Okay? Arjuna is afraid of death. He is not afraid of his own death. The world will think, if Arjuna doesn't want to fight, that Arjuna is a coward. But the reality is, Arjuna is afraid of the death of those who will fall at his hand. So Bhagavan Shri Krishna spends this chapter explaining Param Tattva Gyan. He explains the Atma. He explains, we just did the verse, right? Avinashi tu tadvidhi. We did that verse recently. We did Vasansi Jiranani Yatha Vihaya. And then the verse number 23, most famous, Nainam Chindanti Shastrani, Nainam Dahati Pavaka. So explaining all of these things to Arjuna, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, Arjun, there is nothing for you to grieve about. Okay? Verse number 29. Ascharyavat, boliye? Pashyati kaschidena. Ascharyavat pashyati kaschidena. Ascharyavat pashyati kaschidena. Ascharyavat dadati tathaiva chanyah. Dadhati tathaiva chanyah. Ascharyavanchena manyah. Shrinoti Shrutvapyenam Vedana Chaiva Kaschit. Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, Arjun, there are many who look at the soul and have very different interpretations. There are some who are not aware of the soul at all. They believe that the entire existence is their body, Sharir, Indriya, Manas. Everyone believes in the mind, right? So we already explained to you, at the first level you have the Shariram, the body. Controlling the body is the Indriyas, your senses. Controlling the Indriyas is the Manas, the mind, right? Dimag. Above the Manas is our Buddhi, our intellect. Or Buddhi se upar hamare Atma. Atma is Sarvopari. So Bhagavan Krishna says, Arjun, this concept itself is not known to many people. Many people think that the soul does not exist. They understand their mind, they understand the concept of Buddhi also, and they think that is the highest form of existence. Others understand it and believe it is very incredible, and others understand it, they recognize it, but they have no understanding of it, right? So many people will accept, I believe that we have a soul, we have an Atma, but if you ask them what is the Atma, so they don't understand anything about the Atma itself. But they accept ki Atma hota hai. There is an Atma and we believe in it. Bhagavan says, Dehi nityamavadyoyam. Dehi nityam avadhyoyam Dehi nityam avadhyoyam Dehi sarvasya bharata Dehi sarvasya bharata Tasmat sarvani bhutani Tasmat sarvani bhutani Natvam shochitum arhase Natvam shochitum arhase. Bhagavan Krishna again tells Arjuna, there is no need to grieve. Where is the location of the soul? Everyone knows where the body is. You understand the senses. They are linked to your sense organs. You even believe that the manas, the mind, you will believe that is in your brain. But what is the location of the Atma? If somebody will ask you, where is your Atma? So Bhagavan says, Dehi nityamavadhyoyam. Understand that the Atma resides in the Sharir, in the body, as long as this body is in Prithvi Lok. Okay? So the Atma is not outside somewhere else, or it is not slightly above your head, it is not floating around you, it is contained inside of the body. Okay? Dehe sarvasya bharata. But Arjun, the Atma is indestructible. The body is destructible, so it is a little bit strange to understand that an indestructible element is residing within this destructible body. But that is what Bhagavan Krishna is telling us. Tasmat sarvani bhutani. All beings have this Atma inside of them, and this Atma never becomes destroyed. That is why, Arjun, I don't want you to feel any grief. The main problem with Arjuna's grief is because he believes he is going to be killing these soldiers. So he is destroying them. But Bhagavan is trying to explain to him, you are not destroying anything. You are simply moving forward in my Leela. You are simply performing your dharma. And you are destroying the bodies that they have because they have committed lots of pap. It's my desire, hamari ichha hai, that they will be destroyed in the field of battle. But marenge nahi. Their atmas will go to different lokas. That is why you should not fear, Arjun, because you have to perform your swadharma. The next slok is very important. Bhagavan tells Arjun, he says, Parth, swadharmamapi, Chavekshya Swadharmamapi Chavekshya Navikampitumar Navikampitumar Dharamyadhi Dharamyadhi Yudhachroyan Yat Kshatri Yasya Navidyate Yat Kshatriyasya Navidyate. Bhagavan Krishna explains now the concept of Swadharma. What is Dharma? Dharma can be translated as duty, right? All of us have a Dharma, all of us have a Swadharma, and then we also have Satya Sanatan Dharma, okay? All of these dharmas are slightly different. Satya Sanatan Dharma obviously is our religion, our dharma. We pray to Bhagavan, we believe He is the ultimate, and we're here to follow His commands. In addition to that, our dharma is to live on this world and be a good person. And then, above that, we have our swadharma. Means, what is your role in life? What is the purpose of your life? What are you doing? Bhagavan Krishna speaks to Arjuna, says, Arjun, yat kshatri yasyana vidyate. Aap kshatriya ho. You were born as a warrior. You were born as a prince in the kshatriya varna, and you have been trained your entire life to fight. Arjun trained as a child. He would train all day, and then he asked Dronacharya, he says, Guruji, I want to become the best archer in this world. Dronacharya told him, you cannot become the best even if you train all day. There is not enough time to catch up to the best in the world. Arjuna said, what needs to be done? Dronacharya laughed and made a joke, and he says, if you train all day and all night, then you'll become the best. Arjuna made a sankalp that from today I am not going to sleep. And he stopped sleeping in his childhood. And he will train in the day and he will train in the night. That is why he is called Gudakeshaha. Gudakeshaha means one who has conquered sleep. So Bhagavan Krishna says, you are Kshatriya. You have trained for battle your entire life. This is your Swadharma. Understand, this is your Swadharma. Ab Vikampitumaharahansi. Now you are trembling at the moment, at the critical moment. Now this thing that you've been training for your entire life, which is to do battle, when the battle is in front of you, now you have become Vikampan. Now you're wavering. You've become weak. Dharamyadi yudhachroyoyan. This is your Swadharma, and for you, Arjun, there is nothing higher than this Swadharma. If you leave this Swadharma, then even Dharma will turn its back on you. This is something you have to understand as well. If you are grihasthashram, if you are a householder, and you are in charge of taking care of your wife and children, and then one day you decide, I'm not going to provide for them, and you just leave. And then you go to Mandir or ashram and you say to Panditji, Swamiji, I want to become a Swami, I want to worship Bhagavan all the time. You might think that you are doing the right thing, but you are doing the wrong thing. Because you are running towards Satya Sanatan Dharma, but you have left your Swadharma. You have not completed your duty. So Bhagavan is saying all of it must be done. You cannot abandon your Swadharma, you cannot abandon your Dharma and then use me as an excuse and say that no, main Baba banunga, I'm going to become a saint, sannyasi, I'll do jap all day. Many of the saints in Bharat, they are not just sitting in an ashram all day. They have PhDs in Sanskrit and they're doing research and then they're teaching as well, right? So because they're in sannyas ashram, obviously whatever they do is seva, and this is how they give back. So they are still engaged in karma, and they're still doing some kind of swadharma. Anyone who thinks that becoming sannyasi is just to sit and do bhajan all day, then that's probably a lazy person looking for an excuse just to not do anything in life. So Bhagavan is saying, Swadharma, Dharma or Satya Sanatan Dharma. Understanding all three are different, and understanding all three are important. You must not forsake your Swadharma. Arjun, your Swadharma is to fight. Yadritchaya chopapannam Yadrichaya chopapannam. Again, Yadrichaya chopapannam. Swargadvaram apavritam. Swargadvaram apavritam. Sukhina kshatriya partha. Sukhina kshatriya partha. Labhante yuddhamidrisham. Labhante yuddhamidrisham. Bhagavan Krishna said, Arjuna, aap dhanya ho. You are very fortunate. Why? You have to understand that everybody is born according to their karma. And then sometimes you are born in a situation where your life path is already set for you. Like if you go to Bharat, you will see for many generations, families doing the same work. Right? Dadaji, Pardadaji, they were farmers. So the children, they will also be farmers because they have all of this land. You'll see some families where great-grandfather was a police officer, children are also going into police line. You'll see like grandparents are doctors, children also following doctors. It has become kind of like the parampara of that family that we always follow in this line, right? So Bhagavan is saying in the same way, Arjun, Kshatriyas who are enlisted to serve their country, Bhagavan is saying, they are very lucky. Kyun? Swargadvara mapavritam. Their duty is very simple. You have to fight for your country. You have to fight for your king. And I have promised them that Swargadvara mapavritam. If they fall in the line of duty, then they will go to Swarg. Right? If there is a war tomorrow and Canada asks you to fight as a soldier to defend this country, and you fall in the line of duty, then there is a Swarga that is for all warriors. Now the question I ask you is, let's say you're fighting Russia. The soldiers who fall and die on the Russian side, they don't go to heaven? Inki kya galti hai? What is it that they have done wrong? Their president gives them the command that you have to fight. It is not that they are bad people. They have to fight for their country, right? Who is giving the order, he may be wrong, but who is fighting for their country, fighting out of loyalty, they have done nothing wrong. So Bhagavan says, there is a Swarga that is reserved for all Kshatriyas, for all soldiers who fall in the line of battle. And whichever side you fight for, if you fight and die an honorable death, then you go to this Swarga. So Bhagavan is saying, Arjuna, Sukhinaha Kshatriyaha Partha Labante Yuddhamidrisham. That is why there should be no fear in the mind of the soldier. The fear comes from attachment to what you will lose if you lose your life. And then the fear may also come from, am I fighting for the right cause? But Bhagavan Krishna says, as long as you're fighting for your country, and that is what the Pandavas are fighting for, and even though the Kauravas, they are a little bit more arrogant and greedy, they're also fighting for their country. After the Mahabharatam, Bhagavan Krishna will test Yudhishthir. He will, when the Pandavas will go to northern Bharat and they will pass away, so Yudhishthir, when he will be the last one remaining, Bhagavan Krishna will take him to Swarga, and then he will see his cousins, Duryodhan, Dushasan, everyone enjoying themselves in Swarga. And he will tell Yudhishthir, do you want to stay here, or do you want to go where your brothers are? So then he will take them to Arjun, to Bhim, and he will make up a leela that they're in Patal and they're suffering. So Yudhishthir asks the question to Bhagavan Krishna. He says, how is it that the Kauravas are in Swarga? He understands that Bhagavan is testing him, and Arjun and Bhim, they're not really in Patal. He says, wo to theek hai Bhagavan, but tell me, how is Duryodhan and the 100 Kauravas in Swarga? So Bhagavan Krishna explains to him, they still died on the battlefield. And this is the law that I have created for Prithvi Lok. That the soldiers who are fighting for their countries, fighting for their kings, if they fall on the battlefield, Swargadvaram apavritam, then they are granted automatic entry into Swarga. That Swarga is reserved for them. But Arjun and Bhim, they did not go to that heaven. They went to a higher Vaikuntha Dham where Bhagavan Krishna is waiting for them. That's a different katha. But Bhagavan Krishna says in verse 33, Atha chet tvamimam dharmyam Atha chettvamimam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi. Atha chettvamimam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi. Sangramam means warfare. Bhagavan says, na karishyasi. Arjun, if you will choose now, knowing that this is what should be done, knowing what is the right path, if you will choose not to fight, tataha swadharmam kirtim cha, tataha swadharmam kirtim cha, hitva papam avapsyasi, hitva papam avapsyasi. Bhagavan says, Arjun, swadharmam kirtim cha hitva, giving up your swadharm, giving up this kirti. This kirti means fame, but Bhagavan does not mean the fame that Arjuna will get if he is victorious. He is talking about not fame, he is talking about the reputation of his family. He's saying, Arjuna, it's not just you, but your brothers, your father, your grandfather, your entire kul becomes disgraced when the world will speak about their grandson, their great-grandson Arjuna, who ran away from the battlefield. So you will bring disgrace to your kul, you will give up your swadharm, papam avapsyasi, or aapko paap lagega. There will be some paap attached to your action. So, what do you have to understand from what Bhagavan Krishna is saying this now? Giving up your swadharm. I gave you the example of the grihasti who abandons his family. The child whose only job is to study, who is in brahmacharya ashram. Parents are doing everything they can. They're working 2 jobs, giving all of the financial requirements, taking them to all the classes. Then the child is lazy. He doesn't study. The child gets some pap as well. They will get sin because they are making all of the efforts of the parents vyarth. And it is their swadharm to study in that time. They have nothing else to do. So they get some pap as well. Abandoning your dharma, abandoning your swadharma gives bad karma. The same way as doing some kind of bad action. Bhagavan Krishna explains this to Arjuna. So you have to ask yourselves in your life, most of you here will be Hindus, so Satya Sanatan Dharma is your Param Dharma. But what is your Swadharma? Your Param Dharma is clear. Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Bhagavan Sadashiv. What is your Swadharma? And are you doing that properly? Are you fulfilling your obligations? And then you have to look at Dharma, being a good person. So Swadharma or Dharma or Param Dharma. These are the 3 things you have to analyze in your life and see if you're on the right path. Verse number 34. Om akirtin chapi bhutani kathayishyanti te vyayam sambhavitasya cha kirtim aranadatirichyate. Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, Arjun, one more thing. As a Kshatriya, as a Yuvraj, as a prince, there is nothing more terrible than disgrace. There is nothing more terrible than badnaam. And if you leave this battlefield, no one will ever believe that you left out of compassion. Everyone will say that you left because you were afraid to fight. Okay? So Bhagavan Krishna is saying, that will be a great apaman for you. There are so many warriors, the entire world holds you in great esteem. Bhayadranadu paratam. Bhayadranadu paratam. Mansyante tvam maharatha. Yesham cha tvam bahumato. Bhutva yasyasi laghavam. Bhagavan Krishna says, great people in the world, they have an extra responsibility because people look to them for example. And he says, Arjuna, the world will say that you ran from this battle because you were a coward, and their faith will be shaken in what is our duty. Because your entire life you have been treated badly by the Kauravas. Now when they refuse to give you what is yours, and you have to go to war, Yudhishthir is depending on you to win this war. Reality is, there was only one warrior in the entire army of Pandavas who is important. That warrior is Arjuna, right? If Arjuna is not there, it doesn't matter how powerful Bhim, Yudhishthir, Nakul, Sahadev, Satyaki, none of them can defeat Bhishma, none of them can defeat Dronacharya, none of them can defeat Karna. None of them can even defeat Kripacharya or Ashwatthama also, right? Only Bhim can kill Duryodhan. All of the other warriors will never be defeated. So, Arjuna, you are the one hope of the path of Dharma. This is the right side. This is the side that is fighting for what is rightfully theirs, not fighting for greed. Kauravas are fighting for lobh. They're fighting for greed. They're fighting for pride. Yudhishthir fights for what is right. If you will abandon him now, everyone will think of you very poorly, as a coward, as a disgrace, and people will not be inspired in the future to stand up for what is right. How many people have been inspired by Arjuna because despite facing an army that is much more larger with so many great warriors, only trusting in the words of Bhagwan Shri Krishna, he will go and fight and he will be victorious. Agar wahi Arjun bhag jata hai to, what will the world say? Once the enemy force is larger, once adharma is more powerful, then you have to submit. But Arjuna teaches us that we stand firm and we are resilient no matter what. Bhagwan Krishna says, Arjun, Avachya vadhanscha bahun Avachya vadhanscha bahun Vadishyanti tavahitaha Vadishyanti tavahitaha Nindantastav samarthyam Nindantastav samarthyam Tato dukkataram nukim. He says, Arjun, forget about your friends. Even your enemies will laugh at you, and your enemies will call you weak, and your enemies will call you a coward. For kshatriya tato dukkataram nukim. What is more terrible than this? In our Shastras it is said that ek sajjan ke liye, for a good person, ek dharmik vyakti ke liye, for a good person who believes in Bhagavan and regularly prays and tries to do good in samaj, getting disgraced is almost as bad as mrityu. Apaman mrityu tulya hota hai. There is nothing worse than being disgraced in your samaj and being cast off as an outsider because of some great mistake or some bad thing that was done. So Bhagavan Krishna says, Arjuna, understanding what I have told you, understanding that the Atma is of this most indestructible nature, understanding that this is simply my Leela. These people have committed lots of pap. I have decided that their lives must now come to an end in this battle. You are on the other side. I am using you to fulfill this Leela. There is no pap, there is no punya attached to this. You are simply doing your swadharma, right? Important to understand. We keep telling Arjuna that there is no pap if you kill the Kauravas. Where there is no pap, there is no punya as well. When Arjuna kills Bhishma, when he kills Karna, he's not getting blessings for doing that. That's his duty. His duty as a Yuvraj, his duty as a warrior of Dharma, is to destroy the forces of Adharma. Right? You do not get blessings for doing your duty. When you come to Mandir and you do prayers, you get blessings. When Panditji is doing your puja for you, he doesn't get any blessings. Wo unka swadharma hai. He is doing your puja. When he prays for himself, he gets blessings, right? When you go to work, you earn a salary and you take care of your family, you're not really getting any punya for that. That's your swadharma, that's your obligation. But agar swadharma ko tyag diya, if you leave your swadharma and don't do your duty, then you can get pap for that, right? That is why Zimmedari, responsibility is a very important thing in this world. If you know you cannot keep this responsibility, then don't do it. If you know that you don't want to take care of wife and children, don't get married. If you don't get married, there is no pap. If you get married, you have them, and then you leave them and they're desolate and they have no way of sustaining themselves, then you have to get some sin for that. If you want to enlist in the army and then the moment when your country needs you, then you are scared and you want to run away, then you'll get pap, right? If you were a doctor and then somebody comes in front of you and you refuse to treat them, then you'll get pap for saying no to that. Bhagavan Krishna is saying, Arjun, understanding your swadharam, now I ask you to do your duty without fear. This is the important point that Bhagavan Krishna is making. He can command Arjun, go and fight this war, but he wants Arjun to do two things. Suichha, he wants him to fight because of his own desire, and nirbhay, he wants him to fight without any fear. And that is how he wants you to live your life as well. He wants you to do things because you want to do it. He doesn't want you to come to Mandir because Mataji told you to come, Pitaji told you to come, Panditji told you to come. He wants you to come to Mandir because you want to come. Aapki ichha hai, aapki bhakti hai, prem hai. You feel this love and attraction to him. And then he wants you to have no fear. Bhagavan is called Bhaya Haran. He is the one who removes all fear. Tulsidas ji calls Bhagavan Shri Ram Bhaya Singh. He is like a lion that moves through the forest, but Bhaya Haran. If you see a lion in the forest, you'll feel fear. The lion is about to kill me. But Bhagavan Shri Ram aise sher hai. He is this kind of lion that removes fear. He removes fear from your life, right? Bhagavan Shri Krishna wants Arjun to be without fear. And fear comes from asakti. Fear comes from attachment. You're scared of losing something. That is why you have fear. So when you understand that, mamata or ahamatva, two things are not there. This concept of I am, that is not true. And this concept of this is mine, ye mera hai, that is also not true. When you accept that, then there is nothing left to fear because you are not scared of losing anything. When you become very advanced, then you are not scared of losing this life also. Because you simply accept that, marne ke baad, I will go to a different loka, I will go to Swarg, I will go to Patal, I will go to Pitralok, spending some time there, I will come back into this Prithvi Lok. When you leave your home in the morning to go to work, are you afraid to leave your home? You're not afraid, because you know 5 p.m. after work, you're coming back to this house. So the same way, the real bhakta is not afraid of mrityu. Because they know, after some time I will go, Swarg, Pitralok, Patal, jo bhi hai, and I will come back. Or, I will go to Bhagavan and there is no need to come back. So Bhagavan Shri Krishna tells Arjuna, verse 37, chapter 2. One of the most important verses in this chapter. Hato va prapsyasi swargam. Hato va prapsyasi swargam. Jitva va bhokshyase mahim. Jitva va bhokshyase mahim. Hato va prapsyasi swargam. Jitva va bhokshyase mahim. Tasmat uttishta kaunteya. Yudhaya krita nischaya. Bhagavan Krishna tells Arjun, Hatova prapsyasi swargam. Hato means hataha, means to die. He says, Arjun, if you die in this battlefield, to prapsyasi swargam, you will obtain swarga. Immediately you will go to swarga. The same swarga I was telling you about, that is reserved for all warriors. Disregarding whichever side they are fighting on, any warrior that falls on this battlefield immediately will go to swarga. Jitva va bhokshyase mahim. But if you win, if you are victorious in this fight, then this entire world will belong to you. This is a fight in Bharat amongst the most powerful kings. And when they will win, this entire country will be united in Akhanda Bharat. And there will be one Samrat, one emperor that rules this entire country. So at that time, Bharat was the center of the world. Ruling Bharat is like ruling the entire Prithvi Lok. So Bhagavan Krishna says, in death, you go to Swarga. If you win, then you enjoy this world. Arjun, this is what we call a win-win situation. Everybody wants a win-win situation, right? Win-win means there is no risk. So when there is no risk, there is no need to be sad. There is no need to be worried. Na shochitum arhasi. There is no need to grieve. And there is no need to have fear. Bhagavan says, Arjun, understanding what I have told you, tasmat uttishta kaunteya, stand and pick up your weapons. In the beginning of this chapter, Arjuna had thrown his weapons to the ground. Sasaram chapam tyaktva. He had thrown his dhanush to the ground. He said, Keshav, main nahi larunga. Bhagavan says, Arjun, utho aur shastra bhi uthao. Tasmat uttishta kaunteya, yudhaya krita nischaya. Yudhaya krita nischaya. Yudhaya means for war. Bhagavan says, Yuddha ke liye tayari karo. Prepare to fight. But there is a very important shabd that Bhagavan uses here. Krita nischaya. Nischaya means that which is very certain. I already explained to you, Bhagavan Krishna is known as Satchidanand. Satchit Anand. Sat means Satya Swarup. In this entire Prithvi Lok at the time of Dwapar Yug, the only thing that is Satya is Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So Bhagavan Shri Krishna is telling him, I am with you. मैं तुम्हारे साथ हूँ. इसलिए निश्चित रूपेण युद्धाय, prepare for war with a firm mind and believing in me. That is the difference between those who move around in this world without any faith and those who have faith. Those who have no faith, then they're just living to exist. You're living to work, you're willing to fill your stomach, you're willing to satisfy the body, satisfy the senses. But when you have faith in Bhagavan, when you have faith in this higher power, and then nischaya, that is permanent and that is always with you. Bhagavan Krishna says, Arjun, I am with you. I am not asking you to fight this battle alone. Bhagavan is sitting in his chariot. So he will not fight the war for Arjun. This is important to understand. Bhagavan Krishna could have said, Koi baat nahi Arjun, tum mera mitra ho, baith ke aaram karo, sit here, relax. I like you a lot. These guys are bad guys. Let me use my Sudarshan Chakra and destroy all of them in 1 second. Bhagavan will not fight the war for you. He expects you to fight. He expects you to get up and take action. Tasmat uttishta kaunteya. It doesn't matter how much puja part you do. If you go to university and you don't study, will you pass the exam? You won't pass the exam. Once there was a bhakt who was lazy to study, but he wanted knowledge. So he started doing tapasya. He was living in near Saurashtra in Gujarat, so along the ocean side. He's doing tapasya. So he sees an old person coming on the beach where he's doing tapasya, and then takes a bucket, and he is taking a bucket of the ocean water, and he takes it all the way up to the bank, and he's emptying it there. So he does this over and over and over. So the bhakta gets annoyed. He says, I'm here to do tapasya and this guy is doing foolishness in front of me. So he stops him and says, Oh Brahman Devata, what are you doing? He says, I'm trying to move the ocean. I'm trying to move this water and place it over there so we can have a small ocean over there as well. So the bhakta gets angry and says, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Using one bucket at a time, can anybody create a new ocean? So the bhakta transforms himself into Indra. And he says, you are telling me what I'm doing is stupid. You are doing this is more stupid. Nobody does tapasya to gain knowledge. Knowledge is gained by adhyayan. And then the devotee realized that what he was doing, he was misguided. But he was a bhakta, so Bhagavan came to explain to him. He sent Indra to explain to him. There are certain things you can pray for, and there are certain things that Bhagavan does not want you to pray for. He wants you to do yourself. You can pray to have access to good school. You can pray to have access to education. But don't ask him to give you the knowledge. He expects you to go and study. He expects you to go and open these books and to read them. If you want to learn Bhagavad Gita, he will create the opportunity for a class or something to be there, but he's not going to magically give you this knowledge in your head. So Bhagavan Krishna says, Arjun, tasmat uttishta kaunteya yudhaya krita nischaya. We're all fighting some kind of war in this life. It doesn't mean we're fighting a physical war like Arjun, but we're all doing something, overcoming something. we're either studying or we're working or providing for our family, or we're on a spiritual journey where we're getting closer and closer to Bhagavan. Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, as long as you are on the path of Dharam, I am with you. Krita Nischaya. And you should have complete faith in this. Param Vishwas Rakho Mere Upar. I am with you and I will never leave you, but have no fear and perform your duty. And I promise you, you will either get Prapsisi Swargam, otherwise Jitva Va Bhokshise Mahim. If you fall in this path, you will go to Swarga, you will come to my abode. And if you succeed, and you will get everything that you ever wished for right here on Prithvi Lok. Okay? This is the message that Bhagavan Krishna is giving to Arjuna. It is a very powerful message. I want everyone to remember this shloka from chapter 2. Whenever you feel that there is doubt, like should I do this, should I not do this, you have to reassure yourself. As long as you are on the path of Dharma, know that Bhagavan is also with you. If you're having doubt that is Bhagavan with me or not, then it means that maybe you're not doing the right thing. Then you are not on the path of Dharma. Everyone knows if they're doing a good thing or a bad thing. If you want to do fraud, so you can't say Bhagavan is with me, let me do my job. But if you are working honestly and you are working hard, then yes, He will be with you. And He will guarantee you success, either this life or the next. Bolo Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Bolo Gita Maya ki jai. Bolo Satchidananda Bhagavan ki jai. Jai Shri Krishna, everyone. We'll stop here today, even though we have a few minutes left. But if I give you too many shlokas, then you'll start getting tired and forgetting. So from next week, we'll go from this shloka. And I want to remind everyone that if you're not in the WhatsApp group, please join. If there is ever any change in the class timing, we'll just send a message there. Right? So please join the group if you're not in the group. And there is also a Sanskrit class that has started, that is before this class from 10 to 11. If you're joining, you have to join from next week, otherwise it'll be too late. But it's a beginner class. We're learning the alphabet right now. So if you already know the alphabet, you can join in 2 or 3 weeks from now. Okay? Jai Shri Krishna, everyone. Thank you.